they could say we've lost our minds. See, I don't care if they call us crazy. Run away to a world that we desire. Every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. Oh, a million dreams for the world we're gonna make.
WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
Yeah. I left the instrumental so you can vibe with me. Come, give me some shoulder movement. Just walk up your shoulder.
You're on your own. I didn't even know what it is. I was pulling up. I just pulled that over.
All righty then. We are back with more Activated Mornings on WEFM with Dianna, that's me, and Roleza.
That's me. All right. So before we get into our next segment, Babs, one of our listeners, frequent listeners, she said, so just for some historical information, there was a talk radio program on NBC many years ago, long before Shake Up. It was called Searchlight and was introduced during the NDP James Mitchell regime. After someone called in and criticized the government, PM Mitchell shut it down. Okay.
Oh.
All right. So I don't think I knew anything about this. I don't think I did. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
So thanks very much for updating us with that information. All right. So I see we have a call here. Hi. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I am going to go way back. But I must join with Kingsley in saying that you guys are doing a fantastic job. You could only grow from strength to strength. But there's something I'd like you to do for me personally, please. I often find myself having to translate or interpret things that's being said on. I'm talking about you guys. I'm not speaking to any other radio station. So I could interpret or translate. My favorite phrase is would have, and other words that are being misused.
Joshua, how you so man?
No, I have to do this, you see, because you're international. You're international.
Mm-hmm.
If you're only speaking to Vincentian, that's okay. But when you're speaking to people outside of St. Vincent, and you say, for example, Roleza would have said yesterday, she said it. Would have means that she meant to say it, but she didn't say it. So, words and phrases to translate, slangs like, Dianna, you come up with something every day like water, lay down water, stand up, something to interpret. But Kingsley, you might be too young to remember this, but Cain was the one who really started talk radio in St. Vincent. Cain and I think there was a Mr. Dowers. But back then, we just had the landline, where maybe one in every 500 persons had a telephone, so you couldn't call into live radio. But these guys had live guests on their show. Cain.
And
I remember this because
was this on NBC radio as well?
No. Radio. I think it was Wibs at that time. And NBC didn't even exist.
This is like long time ago, Joshua.
So this is what I'm saying. So talk radio is nothing new, but you guys are doing an excellent job. Try to stay away from the politics and religion, because religion and politics are the two most destructive elements.
And it's the hot topic.
I always say from time to time, one of the reasons I didn't get into politics is that if I ever became president or what, I would ban religions and political,
Bad
I'll be a
religions?
dictator. Let's put it that. Yes. Because listen, we talk. First of all, let me make it clear. I'm a born again believer in the Lord Jesus Christ. Right? I'm not a Christian. St. Vincent has more churches than, every corner you turn, you find a church, and
And
they're
wrong shop.
all.
But go ahead.
Well, you see, now you guys limit your callers. When I call, you mention things. Now, when I visited St. Vincent like once a year, so sometimes I would stay in kindergarten, and I'd walk into Hamilton to Kingston. And when I come down, those big rocks on the hillside, what you call that, the long wall. 6 o'clock in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, the rum shop already open. But coming from the rum shop, I could hear music, religious music.
People are meant to get a medication to start the day.
God and rum. Listen, let me not say that here because somebody will put me up this morning.
They started with two spirits, the Holy Spirit.
Spirit,
and the
yes.
Exactly, both spirits.
And then coming back, on my way back up to kindergarten, the talk shows would be on, and there the people would be going at each other like Tom and Jerry. So St. Vincent is just quite an interesting place. And as I said, talk radio started a long time ago. And I was always interested in talk radio in St. Vincent. Now I try to avoid going on. I actually used to be on you guys' radio station, when you were in that old building up from the girls' high school.
I remember you saying it.
You probably don't. You probably don't even know about that old broken down wooden building. I think it was wooden. At least the upstairs was wooden. So I've had a very long relationship with talk radio in St. Vincent, and I really do enjoy you guys. It's kind of difficult to stay away from politics and religion, but you're doing a fairly good job. But seriously though, I would like to have a dictionary to translate Vincentian words and phrases.
I will write it up for you, Joshua.
Right.
Yes, do that for me, please. And I'm kind of happy because my wife is off this week. And
so you get to spend time with her, take her out on a date, take her to the beach. Joshua, take her on some walks. Go spend a night at a hotel or a resort. Come on,
Dianna. There's nothing new or nothing different that I could find to do with my wife. We have like Wednesday is our date day. Wednesday religiously.
That's good. That's good.
Yes. And I don't even know what to say right now because she's standing in the kitchen there. I'm sitting here, so I have to watch myself because I do not want to put me in the doghouse because the thing is we ain't got no dog.
All right, Joshua.
I love you guys. Take care.
All right, take care. Thanks. All right.
Hey, all righty then. Heading straight into our story for this time. So some interesting topics are popping up in the news these days.
Before we jump forward. So this is why I like listen to listeners, So that NBC, so somebody is saying the NBC Radio Searchlight program is where Dave Roberts started his debut and became famous. He is the longest caller to radio that this person knows.
Dave, you need to get an award. Big up you.
All right. So, okay. All right. So now we know. I like knowing things.
Yes.
So thank you.
Yes.
All right. Let me leave Dianna alone. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's one of the reasons I please nobody take offense, but I like hanging out with older people because you can learn things like
take the offense to young people then?
Some people don't always call them old and older people. So I don't mean no offense, but I like to hang out with older persons because you get to learn a lot of things from them because they've lived life and they can share this with you. So I like this. Now moving into our young people topic. A 17-year-old was accused of setting a 13-year-old girl a 13-year-old. Yes, a 13-year-old girl on fire. 17-year-old Belmont child who has been remanded in custody until Wednesday. You know which Wednesday, but remanded in custody until when the court is expected to get an update on a girl who is alleged to have been set on fire. The teen, who cannot be identified because of his age, appeared before the senior magistrate, Colin John, at the Serious Offences Court. He was read the indictable charge that on November 8th at Belmont, 8th, at Belmont, he inflicted grievous bodily harm on the virtual complainant, who is a resident of Calder. The teen, who was unrepresented, was not required to plead to the indictable charge. The prosecutor informed the court that the counsel Ronald Marks had represented that teen when police interviewed him. So when he was being interviewed by police, he did have a representative, Ronald Marks. Regarding bail, the prosecutor informed the court that the virtual complainant was still at the hospital. The allegation is burns about the body, Cato said, and informed the court of the age of the child. The prosecutor, however, told the court that the accused did not attend school. So the 17-year-old, if I understand correctly, does not go to school. That's basically all the details of the case right there. 17-year-old has been remanded into custody for allegedly setting a 13-year-old girl on fire, and it is alleged to have occurred at a house where several young people are in the habit of gathering. And when we have this last line here that says it happened at a place where several young people are in the habit of gathering, hearing this young child allegedly doing this to another child at a place where a lot of other young people are, I cannot help but go back to Matthew's situation just came right back to my head. Another child around other children killed by a child. And here we have a child setting another child on. Kids, what's going on? Well, let me not say kids. Children. Roleza, how you feel about this?
All right, so this is actually frightening to me. And it's frightening to me from the standpoint, from looking at the 17-year-old. Because as a 17-year-old male, so young, I am thinking of what could possibly run into your mind to do something like this, right? So it said that he doused the girl with a liquid and then used a lighter to set her on fire. And I am there thinking, no, under normal circumstances, for even an adult male, this would not cross your mind. If you have a disagreement with a female, that this would not be something that you would consider doing. But for a 17-year-old, it's very frightening to me, right? I also have to look at the house in which these young people are gathering. Is this, let's say, an abandoned house? Is this a house where adults are also present? What activities are occurring within this house? What are the ages of these young persons? Where are the parents of these young persons? So this raises several questions for me, but I am particularly frightened about knowing that this is what somebody at the age of 17 has considered doing. And it makes me wonder. No, I as I always say here in this program, I try not to be in the habit of writing off people, especially young persons, right? I know that there are many times that they're going through different stages in their lives. They're not quite sure of who they are, where they want to be. Their minds aren't fully developed. So I'm generally I try my very best not to be overly critical, as well as to write them off based on a one-off incident that may have come to the attention of us as the public. But I have to give serious thought to what is his mindset, right? Because for you to consider doing something like this, and to a 13-year-old, and 13-year-old female at that, it's just, I have to wonder, is there possible room for him to be rehabilitated, right? Is the rehabilitation efforts going to work? Is there going to be a situation where he comes into conflict with another female, right? Let's say in a domestic situation, what would be his possible course of action then? Or even let's say he gets into an altercation with another male, what might be his possible course of action? Because to have to consider or to think about something like this, to do something like this so young, it's frightening for me, right? I also do have to wonder what was it that he may have possibly witnessed as a child growing up. there are times when, yes, I would always say on this program that there are things that we might have experienced during our childhood that can influence who we are and how we become. But there does come a point in time when you know right from wrong.
Yeah.
So there are times when you do know how to separate the things that you went through from the actions that you are going to do, right? But it is concerning to me. It is very concerning to me.
Quite. So, boy, as I read the article and then as we're talking about it this morning, I'm just trying to brainstorm and see what it is that we can do, because there are things in place, but boy, we need to. I don't even know who I am speaking to, who needs to step up, because we've already called on parents and we know that parenting is one of the issues that we've talked about. But we need to step up, because I don't want to read anything more like this in any news article. I don't want to come here and have to talk about anything more like this. Okay, so
but as you made that point of parenting, though, so you all know my position on not wanting a child. And one of the reasons too is that we might talk about where are the parents or what are the parents doing. But there are some instances where a parent could try their very best and a child could still be hell-bent on doing what they want to do. So I'm not trying to say that I don't know the circumstances of this child's life, right? But I also don't know in terms of how much work has gone into this child from the standpoint of the parents. And, this child decides to do what they want to do because the child is 17 years old, right? And he would see enough. He's been exposed to enough. And there are many times when the choices that they make are the choices that they have chosen to make in terms of, I'm speaking about children here, so it's a very fine line. It's a very, very thin line here.
Yeah. Yes. It's, boy, we have to do something for our children. We got to do something for our children. And as we're talking about our children, there's another one. 2 students charged with knife possession. 2 male students of the J.P. Eustace Memorial Secondary School have been ordered to return to the Serious Offences Court in connection with a charge of possession of a knife. So one student is 18 and another one whose age is not yet verified were charged that without lawful excuse in a public place. Let me see. At Kingston, without lawful excuse in a public place, to wit the Kingston Public Road, they each had in their possession an offensive weapon, which is a knife. The students who appeared in their school uniforms pleaded not guilty to the charge. The prosecutor asked that the matter be adjourned to Tuesday so that the Director of Public Prosecutions could inform him of how to proceed. So the 2 students, one is 18, the other we're not sure how old they are, charged with knife possession. They have been released on station bail, and the prosecutor asked that that continues. Senior Magistrate Colin John granted the prosecutor's application and also ordered the students to return to the court on Tuesday. So here we were talking about one young man setting another young person on fire using lighter and gasoline or some sort of flammable liquid. And here we have 2 more students, 2 more young boys. I'm assuming one is a boy, and I'm assuming the other one is a boy as well, with having knife in their possession, having a knife in their possession, school children. So while we're not saying that something has happened, thank God I'm not reading here this morning, child stabbed by another child, thank God. But is why you have the knife? What is your intention? Why are you carrying around this knife? For protection? I would want protection too. I don't walk around with a knife. And here we are talking about our children again. Oh,
right.
boy.
And I think what's this happening is, so last week we were all happy, right? About the fact that JP Eustace was in the news because the students won the public speaking competition. And they were the first that Bulls is his surname, right? Mr. Bulls. Address him officially, Mr. Bulls, right? Was the first person from his school to win the public speaking competition. And then now,
since they renamed.
Since they've renamed, that's JP Eustace and not Emmanuel. And then now we have the following week to hear this situation. And, of interest, it's so you're walking around with knives. For whatever reason you're walking around with knives. Can be anything, because anything proper, anything anything that warrants walking around it, because I'm sure it wasn't a school project that they had to do and they needed a knife,
school
right?
Project not need no knife.
Correct.
Knife their school.
Correct. So here they are walking around with it, maybe playing most Batman or whatever the case might be, but you have to appear in the dock in your school uniform, right? And appearing in the dock in your school uniform is what? Supposed to remind us that you are a school child? Would leniency occur because you've appeared in your school? I'm just looking at the way in which the optics of the situation would look, but again, I don't know what it is with young people, and I don't like saying young people as if I wasn't young at one point, right? So I try my best not to come down so hard on them. But there's something that I've picked up with many of them, and they just seem to be angry.
Yes.
Both males and females just seem to be angry. Like the other day, I tried to have a conversation with a young lady, and the attitude that she gave me, and I'm like, girl, what it is you're going through? You the bank coming for your house? You're getting fired from your job, and there's a school child. So I'm there thinking, what is it that could possibly have you so upset that you seem to be so upset with the world? And it wasn't like necessarily like a one-off conversation. It's, the kind of attitude or the kind of way in which your child would respond to me on a regular basis. It just had me wondering, what is it that's going on in your life that could have you seeming so upset? And I find that is something that's happening with many young children. I don't know if it's a case where they don't have persons who they can reach out and speak to. Are the persons who they're hoping that would listen to them the ones not listening to them? Because for some older folks that they're so set in their ways that everything a child does is so negative, right? And a child might do something this week, and next week you bring it back up. Even if the child hasn't done anything, they bring it back up. So
always constant reminder.
That history of constantly being reminded that you have done this, and you're forever feeding it into the child's mind that they're quote unquote bad, right? So there are many times when we also have to look at what it is that we do or how we interact with children as adults to know whether or not we are also contributing to the problems that they're going through. Do we actually try to be a listening ear? Do we also remember that we too were once young and we made mistakes, right? And do we sort of give them that guidance as opposed to just lashing out at them and making them feel as if they're worthless and invaluable? All right. So we have a caller at this time. Hi, caller, morning.
Hello.
Hello. Let me address you properly. Let me address you as Mr.
You're gonna address me properly?
Searchlight. Right, Mr. Searchlight. Okay.
Well, and I'm a little surprised. Well, maybe that tells me that you're all young like Popeye. You ever hear that talk? You're all young like Popeye. You all don't even have a clue about what the Searchlight was. Let me thank that person who knows about Dave Roberts. You know why? Because some of them just come. I am thinking about you all,
I was wondering if it's reassuring what for.
When I call, I try to help you along. Whether you recognize that, when I hear some people talking some things that I know about, I come in to give my piece. Even to participate in these programs, when you hear how some people are so negative, right? I have a problem with that. Some people saying, oh, Dave Roberts is my friend. Well, hey, I don't sit in the hole wide. I don't beg for friends, right?
You had a beg. You just might get friends just so, Dave. You had a beg?
No, I don't have to beg. I don't have to beg. And I can tell you, I don't make a big thing about this. The number of people that have endeared themselves to me, well, some of them gone overseas and so on, and particularly women of all sorts. I had also be careful with my sexual capacity. I can say that loud and clear.
What is this at all, Dave?
No, that ain't no secret. And I'm not just no empty boast.
So Dave, you was a hot man?
No,
You was a gallus?
no, you see how you're looking at me? Young people talk.
It's
No.
It's not how we look at it, it's what you said. So we just confirming.
All right, okay, if that's your way of interpreting.
No, it's for you to say yes or no, Dave. I didn't say.
Okay, I get it. I get the message. But when I speak, I don't want to come on at my age and stage now, in the latter years of my life. All I'm trying to convey to you or to say to you is that I don't want to come on the radio and entertain any nonsensical talk. When I come on the radio, I would like to elevate, educate, lift people out of their terrible situation and to explain to them how some people take advantage of them and so on. But not everybody get the message, right? So thanks to that person who gave you all the history of me.
All right, so it was
And
both
my-
Babs and Evan Roberts.
Who did?
Evan Roberts. So there's a lady, Babs and Evan Roberts. I think you might know Evan,
don't-
right?
Yeah, that's my relative. He lives
All
in
right.
England. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's my big up to you, my brother, and I'm happy that you're keeping in touch. Last time you came home, you make some excuses and come and look for me.
Dave,
didn't-
Dave.
Oh Lord.
In one breath, you're telling him you're picking up the banner. In the next breath, you're chastising him. What you want?
Hello, that's my relative. I recognize my relatives. You know, I recognize my relatives, and if they don't. But I was just about to say, I delivered a speech at his wedding, and years after he came back to say, Dave, you were right with what he had to say. So I can brag and boast about these things. I don't want to get myself in any contention. Nobody must ever try to get in contention with me right now in my life. I want to die peacefully and not leaving any enemies. Although I know, I don't have to make enemies. People make themselves enemies. So that's all I'm saying. So when I hear some people come on and be, I've been around with this thing. Me and the Prime Minister would have clashed in these things and so on. The lightweight, heavyweight, right? And I don't mind who you are, how I love to have dialogue with you. Nobody must be sharp. He has a saying, the Prime Minister, nobody better than you, better than nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I am examining that. I have seen what is happening in this country, and some people believe they're better than you, right? Thank you. Love you guys. Love you.
All right, Dave Roberts. Have a good one, Mr. Searchlight. All right. Yeah. So just to wrap up that topic that we were on this morning. All right. So we have another caller. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Good morning, please.
Morning.
I'm calling with the two student boys.
Mm-hmm.
They're innocent of the charge what the police give them.
Hmm?
They're innocent.
Yes.
Okay.
What I'm saying is,
until you mean
they had something up by mercy, some children, and they come down and go going through the cemetery and then they be going home. Then the police van just come and pick them up. The woman for one the child we had look, two children going there from Dr. High school, and the police just picked them up like that. Throw them in the van, and they wasn't involved in anything.
Yeah, but the
can't say properly. This is why Mr. Connell had to come in and defend them.
okay, but okay. So what they're actually charged with is possession of an offensive weapon, huh? So
yeah, they did, but they didn't using it on nobody.
yeah, but they're charged with possession. They didn't say that they use it against somebody. Is charged with possession. It's an offense to have an offensive weapon.
But the white police picked them up. They thought they wasn't involved in anything of massive.
Well, they may not have been involved in any altercation, but they still, according to this, they were charged with the possession of the weapon. So why would they need to have it in the first place? Why should they have had it in the first place? Right? Yeah.
Yeah. But one of the weapon is just a small penknife.
Still an offensive weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. All right. Thanks, caller.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So so to wrap that up, it does take a collective hand-in-hand effort for us to address many of the challenges that young people are going through, right? As I said before, many of them seem to be just angry young persons for whatever reason, right? And it's just for us as the adults to try to give them proper guidance as best as we can, so that they make the right decisions in life. All right. And when they have made those incorrect decisions, for them to also know that we would still support them through the challenging times that they're going through, and not necessarily to write them off completely. Because if we have to stop and write off everybody, then where would that leave our society, right? There'd be no forgiveness, there'd be no grace.
Yep.
All right. So yeah,
I think it's interesting just to, well, not to prolong it, but just to say that it would be interesting for somebody to do a study and observe the pattern of behavior with the young people, because I have observed it as well. And I'm sure a lot of others have observed the aggression in the young people. And there are several things that I believe we will need to examine. And it would be interesting for somebody to do a study to pinpoint what particular time period and what is the issue. And you see those devices, I strongly believe that the technology that we have today, yes, we love it and it's doing us a lot of good, but it is also doing a lot of harm. So I believe that's one of the issues, because they're exposed to a lot more things, and there's so many weird things on the internet that these children look at, especially that TikTok app. There is so much. So I believe that is, I mean, people don't like to hear the devices are a problem because we think they're the best thing since sliced bread, but it is something to look at. They're exposed to all kinds of behaviors on the internet that the internet is portraying as good. All sorts of craziness on the internet. So that is one to look at. And with that, I will leave this talk segment. The next time you hear from us, we will be bringing to you today's bank rates, the ECCB currency.
Do you want the next topic?
Oh yes. Sorry. I did what I meant to say. What I meant to say is we will be right back shortly. That's what you heard.